Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're here at the Stough Canyon Nature Center in a ravine here in the Verdugo Mountains. The Verdugo Mountains are a small mountain range in kind of northeast of the San Fernando Valley of the Los Angeles area. This is one of many secluded ravines, and this is an area that was burnt over a little over a year ago, about a year and 4 months ago, and this burnt over in around November of 2017. And what you're looking at behind me is the landscape that has basically had a little about a year and a half to recover, or a little less than that. Geologically, most of these mountains, the Verdugo Mountains, have a lot of this kind of rock called gneiss. It's pronounced like nice, like it's a nice rock, but it's actually spelled G-N-E-I-S-S. It has a lot of banding patterns, and what this is from is the slow metamorphosis, heat and pressure causing granite and diorite and other igneous rocks to be squeezed, and slowly the minerals kind of orient themselves in sort of a aligned in such a way that produces these striped or banded patterns here. Okay, so that's a very abundant rock that you find here in the Verdugo Mountains. And so what we're looking at, like I said, is about a little under a year and a half's regrowth. You definitely do see a lot of burnt over shrubs, where you see a lot of laurel sumac. This is laurel sumac. We introduced that in the little video on coastal sage grub, and this sprouts back up pretty quickly after a fire, even several months after a wildfire if it gets enough rain. And of course we've had a pretty wet winter. This again is the one that smells a little on the funky side. Some people like it, some people don't. It does something called crown sprouting. Right at the base of the trunk, the new shoots arise from the part of the plant that survived the fire, the inner bark. Okay, so crown sprouting. And of course, most of what you see are a lot of these annual grasses, most of which are actually not native to California originally. There's probably going to be a lot of wild oats here, a lot of brome, grasses like that. Okay, we introduced, of course, this in a previous video on oak woodland. These are actually the flowers of the wild cucumber, also called manroot. Of course, again, toxic. You don't want to eat wild cucumber, but they're a very common vine, and they're really doing very, very well in this post-fire environment. There actually are a lot of coast live oak trees immediately above me, and some of the lower branches, definitely are still recovering from the fire. It happened again a year and a half ago. There's a lot of fire scars on the bark, but the upper branches are certainly still very, very green. Okay. So this is also the shrub that you see right over there is actually elderberry. Let me get out of the way. Yeah, that one right over there is called Mexican elderberry, and these are the leaves of it. They do actually produce a kind of a fluorescence of little tiny flowers come springtime. And so, and you also do see a lot of this raspberry. We do have a lot of wild raspberries that kind of grow in our riparian corridors as well. I didn't point it out in the previous video, but they are definitely here. I was hoping to see some wildflowers like lupines. Okay, lupines are one of our more common, very showy purple wildflowers. I did see lupine wildflowers here when I was about a year ago, which was only about 4 or 5 months after the fire. And we didn't even really get that much rain last year. We were below average. We're above average this year in February and early March 2019. So anyway, this is a year and a half, or a little under a year and a half, a year and 4 months after a wildfire. Okay, and so in our next video in this series, we're going to be looking at some places that have been like 9 years in recovery, and you'll see again how much things have changed. So until then, I can sign off and keep on exploring our world, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.